What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series of Lake Eufaula. You saw last week we were doing the northwestern section for the offshore side. We're going to continue that today. We've got a little bit more to do on that northwest side, and then we're going to switch down to the west side, talk about a few items there, and hopefully finish up this northwestern side. Then we'll be back soon to talk about that southern section and finish up this entire lake. Should be a good one. Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma. Let's go. Here we are back on the northwestern section of Lake Eufaula. So if you're out there on the Simplistic Fishing website, this is going to be the north and west section of Highway 69. What I mean by that is this is the northwest. This is Highway 69 here, but we also have a little bit of the stuff that's west of Highway 69 over here too. So we're going to cover it all for you. Now, if you missed the last video, we were actually starting this whole section on the northwest side for the offshore stuff, and we got all the way up here to this bridge. And we stopped right here at these last two waypoints that were right here where this river channel swung right over here onto this hump. That is where we ended. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep working our way up the east side, and now it's gonna be more the northeast side. And then once we get to the top, we'll circle our way back down. So let's just start up here and see what we can find. Now up here, this one is not as obvious as a spot. Obviously you're probably gonna come over here and fish this area too, but right where you see this creek bed right here where it's making the turn, that could be a potential good little area. So we went ahead and marked that one for you. Coming on up here on the right side, I'll stay on the right side here. We got another good little creek channel turn there. And then when you get way out here into the middle, this is where you really start finding the good stuff. You've got a lot of good creek channel turns. You've got a nice little hump that's right here on a big old river bend. You've got another little hump that's right here really close to the river channel. Another one here as well. All these nice little humps that are out here, these big swings, those are gonna be great places to go look for fish in the winter and in the summer. Now, while you're up here too, we didn't have it marked, but you may wanna look at this point. This point looks like it sets up pretty good. Coming up to 9 feet, nice little feeding table, and it's really close to that river channel. Let me back out here and show you guys where that's at, just if you're trying to kind of follow along with me. All right, so let's keep moving out here. Let's see what else we can find. Obviously, like all these humps that are close to these river channels, we already talked about those. Let's move on up a little bit, see what we can find up here. Obviously, we're getting in some pretty shallow water here, so there's not going to be a ton of offshore stuff for me to mark for you. So let's just talk about all of them that are up here really quick. We'll just cover them all, and then we'll go back down the other side. So right here, again, river channel bend, right? Big bend or swing, whatever you want to call it, but really good spot to go look at. Same type thing here. Got that big flat table right there close to that bend. Over here, a couple of interesting spots. One, this point has a really good drop off. And then two, this has a nice little hump that comes out and breaks off pretty good, and it's right there before that turn. You may also want to look at the intersection here where these always meet. Those can be good areas to look for fish as well. A couple other spots up here just to show you real quick. One's going to be this hump, 8-foot hump out there. You know, not a lot of things that are out there. So if that's got some rock on it or something like that, it could have shell beds on it. It just could be a really good spot, especially in the summertime. Coming over here too, you've got to see this nice little deep area right in here. This looks like it could have some potential. You can't really see, it's not bringing it up, but there's some pretty good breaks going on right there. We have that marker for you. And I think that's it. There's one more that's up here. Obviously, you've got a big river channel swing right here, right? And this obviously says it's a crappie spot, but you can tell it's a really good spot because it's got that nice little dip right there where it gets really deep. All right, let's move on down, see what else we had over here. A couple more things. Again, nice little area where it bends right there off the edge of that flat. Not really an obvious spot, but definitely a spot you would want to go out, scan around. A couple more of these humps that are close to the river channels. And then as we move down here, we've also got a road bed. Now this looks pretty good because kind of off the beaten path. Maybe not everybody knows about it, but it looks like it's got a really decent little road bed. It's going right down the side of it. Those can be money spots sometimes. All right, over here, a couple more Got that point that's over there close to that pond dam. These are just humps, so just check out these humps. You'll be able to see them. You know, if you don't find them here, scoot over here and see if maybe they're hanging out here and just going up and down, you know, kind of suspending in that deeper water right there. It looks like it could be an old pond or something like that. Another spot on the river channel swings right here, you can see on these bends. We got a lot of them marked for you, but anywhere you see those big bends, you definitely want to fish around those, especially if you're up here fishing that shallower stuff. Those river channels are going to be huge. So let's move back down. Let's go back down to the bridge. And now we're going to work our way down the left side and see what we can find over here. So one, this whole spot right here looks pretty interesting. Nice little hump here at 15 foot. You can see right here, it has a nice little break off into what appears to be maybe an old pond or something like that. Can't tell what it is. Definitely going to be an area I'm going to go look at. Some pretty good breaks right here, and you're probably wondering why we marked this one. Well, look at this little creek bed that's right here. Very interesting, but it comes in and it makes a turn right there where you see our waypoint at. So definitely something, again, you're going to look at. We talked about these out here. Obviously, this is just where all that river channel is coming up and touching those points. We talked about that. Over here, you got another hump maybe you would take a look at. If we go down here to this point's got a creek bed that's fairly close to it, but it says that there's a lot of rock on this point as well. So we definitely have that one marked for you. I'm sure we have it marked on the Google Earth side too, but you know, there's a lot of rock on this lake. It's scattered throughout the lake. But I think when you find those spots where it's not, everything's not rock and you just have patches of rock, that's when you're going to come in, you know, and you're going to have have a lot better chance of finding those fish in those areas. And that looks like one of those areas. As we move back here, just pointing out, there's the creek beds here. Coming right off the river channel turn too, you got that creek bed. That could be a good spot to look at. Moving down here, another river channel swinging right into the edge of basically that main lake point. So you're going to want to scan this whole area right in here. They could be moved up here. They could be way out here. If they're out in the channel, good luck catching them. But if you can find them when they move up here, that's really when you want to be there and find that perfect time, and you'll be able to catch some for sure. All right, moving on down. If you're having a hard time following me, I've came down from the road and I'm all the way down here now. This is going to go pretty quick because there wasn't a ton over here. But again, look right here. You know, we talked about that spot earlier, right? When we came over here, right here too, this river channel is just coming in and bam, it's slamming right up against that point. That's probably going to be a community spot, but take a look at that. But if there is a community spot, there's a bunch of people on there, there's a reason why there's fish there, but maybe scoot over here, see if you can find some fish that aren't as pressured. Right here, you've got a nice little hump that's maybe not as obvious as that huge river channel swing going right there across the point. Some river channel or creek bed intersections back there we mark for you guys. You also have a nice little point here that comes out, and look at this really hard turn. I mean, I would fish the heck out of that dock, that marina, if they'll let you. And then I'd move down here and fish any of these points that come out and touch these spots, even coming over here on the inside of it and looking over here off that as well. You got some good ledges that are here. You got some rocks that are here as well. Got some pretty good stuff going on right there in that area. But fish are going to collect all in this area right here. Just the way that it sets up, it's just going to bring fish to this area a lot. That's like a money spot to put a dock at. All right, and it's not just a dock, it's a marina, so I don't know if you're going to be able to fish it or not, but I would if you can. All right, so let's move on down here. Let's see what else we can find. Staying on the left side, we've already covered the right side. Again, nice little hump there that comes out. This one extends pretty far down. You've got a nice little point here too before it comes down and falls in. Another little shelf over here, a hump, island, whatever you want to call it, but it comes out 8 foot on top. This looks like a perfect like Carolina rig area that you could really hone in on your offshore fishing. So moving down, again, we don't have it marked, but check out those bends, right? Anytime you see the bend come up, you're going to want to fish where it starts to get deep, and then, where it's starting to gradually get shallower too. So right in here, just right on the corner. So right on the edge of that corner, and then next time we find the corner. Already talked about that one earlier. We have a couple spots back in here just to look at, little couple secondary points maybe to look at. You got a road bed that's back there you could look at as well. And then as we move down here, see where I'm at now. I'm almost back out to the main lake. We already talked about the bridges, but you definitely want to fish around the bridges. Pillars, everything, fish it, fish it, fish it. Fish these two spots we talked about as well. Maybe even look out here where you see that bigger break that's right in there. These are just really good funnel points, really good places for fish to collect at. You got something interesting going over here. If you look off the edge of this point, it's actually got a pond that comes off. So maybe looking around that point, setting up a little bit further off that point, fishing around that pond. You got a couple more shallower points here, but again, some really good drops. You're probably gonna find some rock and stuff like that around there as well. And you may even want to scoot up here and see if you can find a well-defined ledge or anything like that. There's also, you see that line, there's also that roadbed that you could check out too. So let's move up, see what else we can find over here in this section. That one's just basically just kind of pointing out that little flat there, but I think I missed that waypoint. Probably should have took that one off. So we'll skip that. We're gonna keep moving up. There's another one of those. And then we get up in here. This is interesting. If you look right here, this is like an old railroad track or something like that. So you'll want to see if there's any type of cover around this. This may be too shallow, but definitely look. You've also got the creek beds there. We're getting this pretty shallow stuff back in there. Then as we swing around, actually we can't swing around yet. I thought we were done. I'm gonna have to get rid of these. They're not cooperating with me. So let's go ahead, and up here you got, again, I'll show you really quick. I'm getting all confused now. You got a nice little point here. For some reason, my Navionics is not showing me everything. See these blue things? So it's jacking me up. I can't tell what my points are there for. But right here, you've got a nice little creek bed right here with a nice point. You can tell the point comes out. Flat top, creek bed close by. Gonna be good. I don't know if you can get up in here because it's so stinking shallow up here, but just breaking down the lake. Going over here again, nice little area here where the river channel kind of opens up before it goes into here. These are going to be great spots. Nice little turn going on right there too. Another little hump that's back here. You're going to have like a duck boat to get back here though. And then moving back here, kind of the same thing, just a big flat that's really close to this river channel. So maybe not even fishing, or you can fish that hump. There's a hump actually on the flat. And again, my contours are jacked. They're not showing correctly. And then moving on here, we're going to go in. Notice this creek bed that comes out, comes down, and then boom, it touches like right in there. That could be a really good spot. And that could be a spot where you don't see a lot of people fishing because that's not, maybe not as obvious as some of the other community stuff that we've been pointing out throughout the video. So as we move down, let's go ahead and stay on this left side. We talked about all of that. Let's go over here and see what else we can find. We got another creek bed over here. We got a nice little point. Look at this little point here. Again, I like spots like this. When you can find spots like this they look good. I mean, it looks like a really good little underwater point, but it doesn't look like something that most people would fish. So if there's fish there, that's going to be a great spot to mark as a forever spot. All right, let's move this back. Let's see what else we can find. We're pretty much done. We're almost to Highway 69. We're going to look at a couple more of these spots that are back here, really just pointing out the creek beds. Here's another creek bed where it reaches right there around a turn. Looks like it may even have a little hump there or something going on. That's gonna be a good spot. Mainly just marking your creek beds there on those last couple spots. So take a look at that. Pay attention to those channels, and anywhere where you see those creek beds come in and meet that channel, those are really good spots to go look at, and they're high percentage spots to find fish. All right, so we're gonna move out. We got 4 more spots to look at here, and then we're gonna go south. But notice this big, huge flat that's right here. Well, right on top of this flat's basically 20 foot. But right out here, you've got a little hump. It's not very big, but it comes up about 5 foot. Those can be good spots too, so go look at those. Nice little ledge going on right there. Over here, you got a nice little point. You could fish anywhere around this point. It's gonna be good. Really deep over here too, 37 feet. Then it comes up to like 12 feet. I could see that being a great little point for them to just hang out at, stage at, stuff like that. Interesting spot in here we marked. You got 2 points, so these points look good, fishing off the edges of the points. But also inside of here, notice this, how it's almost like you got a little ditch here, and then you got another little ledge that's going on right there. So I don't know what that is, but definitely has my attention and something that I would go look at, see if that's worthy of fishing. So here we are, we're underneath Highway 69 bridge. Now all we need to do is go down here and finish up this little section right here, and that will cover us for the north and west section of Highway 69 for Lake Eufaula. So let's go ahead and just finish it up here. So right here, obviously you got this riprap and stuff. Now you could pull off the riprap a little bit and notice you've got some really good contours. Plus you have a creek bed and you have a railroad track going right through here as well that could be submerged. So check and look and see if you can find anything around that track. If not, obviously the riprap is going to be very productive. Like right in here where you see the track go and touch, there could be debris in here and stuff like that. This is going to be a good area to fish around. Probably going to be pretty loud, but definitely a good area to fish around. Let's move up in here. Let's see what else we can find back in these spots. So nice little flat back in there. Same thing. Got a nice little ledge going on right in this spot as well. Then you get back in here, we start seeing these creek beds. There's actually a pretty good little bend going on right in here off the edge of this point. So not only just fishing this point, but coming back in here too. That could be good. More creek beds, more creek beds. We get further in here. Let's see if we can find anything back in here. This looks interesting. So we've got a submerged bridge back in here. We've got a creek bed that comes up in here as well. So this creek bed kind of splits off from this one. So lots of good spots right in here to fish. You know, we've got this marked right here, right where the creek bed comes up here. But you could also go over here and fish around this point. You could fish right here where it makes the turn and see if there's any type of debris or laydowns or anything like that that's there. Looks like you have some kind of a hump or something going on right in this area too. I mean, lots of good stuff, even fishing around that point and following that creek bed up. So just, even though we have that marked in that one area, I would spend some time in that spot and see what you can find. I like how it sets up. It's got pretty good depth and everything like that as well. Got a nice little point that comes out here. Maybe this one's not as obvious. Little 7 foot on top, 2 to 3 foot, and then kind of drops, I guess, off significantly. So you got a really big drop right in here, 34 feet. So you may have a little ledge there. Also, when you're there, look on your map. Always be looking for these road beds. There's another road beds out there you could take a look at. Come off in here, and we're going to go back in here into this area back in here. It looks like we got lots of points back in here to take a look at. These are basically going to be all river channel and creek channel things, but really good spots right there. You can see this really good depth. You got a little shallow spot right here, so they could collect up in here too. Deep spot back in there where it gets really deep. It looks like it could be a pond or something. Again, the river channel swing coming down here, creating that bluff wall. That could be a really good spot right in there. All these little coves look pretty good. They got pretty good depth to them. This little shallow little hump right here, you know, if it's underwater, that could be money too. You got almost like what appears to be an old pond that's here. And maybe this is the old pond dam, but you've got the saddle that's right here too, coming off this. Ugh, some good stuff up in here. All right. Some more of that same thing, type thing going on right there. Got a good little point that's right there we marked for you. Submerged bridge that's up here. Big turn here. I bet you're going to find some brush piles or something right here around this turn. It just looks like one of those areas that would be. If you don't find anything there, scoot up here. You're going to find fish in here for sure, somewhere around that submerged bridge. Again, another creek channel turn back in there. Let's see what else we have up here. We have not too many, but mainly it's all around this creek channel. You got big old ledges and rock piles that are out here. Or it says edge, but it must be more like a ledge. But notice how my Navionics has not given us the whole picture. We've also got the intersection going on right in this spot. So those are good. Another creek channel turn. I don't know what all this stuff is, but this is from where the locals put it, but it looks like you got some type of a ledge or something going on right in that area. But I'd focus on the creek channel, anywhere it makes those turns. And then I would definitely go up here and just look at them. Somebody put that there for a reason. So maybe just scanning around that ledge right in there, and right in here, and just see what the heck that is there, because it's definitely intrigued me. Creek bed up here, more of this same type thing here. Intersections up here, creek channel bends, points that come out, this nice little hump that's here on this big creek channel swing that's right there. Just some really good stuff. And then back here you got kind of the same thing where we can't see what it is, but there's a hump that's right there too that you could take a look at. All right, so let's keep moving back. Let's head back down the river. I think we talked about this. Yep, we talked about those swings. We talked about that point. Talked about that. We went all the way through there. So that covered us in that section. So really we just have these 4 little points left and we will have wrapped up the northwestern section of the offshore stuff for Lake Eufaula. Now, if you missed the other videos for Lake Eufaula, don't worry. I've got them all out on my Lake Breakdown playlist. Just go out there and search for them. Or you can also search for Lake Eufaula and that'll give you all the videos. I don't know how many we've done, but we've done quite a few. So you've got here, you've got the creek beds where they're intersecting. Those can always be a good places to look. You've also got this point, and this point's probably gonna be one of the more productive points that we've looked at just because the way that it sets up. Can't get really good contours again here, but right in there is going to be money, 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 money. You've got the river bend coming right up there, really close to that point. Really good area. You've got the same thing kind of going on in here too. Then as we get over here, I thought we had 4 more points, but it looks like we got more than 4. So edge of this, I'm not sure. This is getting pretty far out there, but you know, sometimes it's worth going out there and looking at and seeing if you can find anything out there. You've got these little humps that are out here, 21 foot, 19 foot. You're getting pretty far out there, but again, they'll get out there. Same type thing here. You got a nice little contour bend, little structure going on right there in that section. And then when we come over here, we've got that submerged railroad again. So you'd want to look at that. Let's see what we got marked back in here. All kinds of good little points here. We've got a submerged culvert. That looks like a great point that we marked right there for you. Also right in there, same thing, kind of little turn here. Can't see the contours again, but I noticed there's a nice little point right here coming out and touching this river channel. So that's gonna be really, really good. Really high percentage spot to look at. Also right in here, see where it comes back and swings right in here? That could be a good little point too. Over here, where it swings and touches this railroad track, that could be a good spot too. There's so much good stuff in here. Over here, if you look at this is a big hump with a railroad track on top of it with a creek channel or a river channel that swings right beside it. So this whole area too could be good. This could even be good. I just can't mark enough stuff on this lake, I don't think, to cover all the offshore stuff. But hopefully what you'll be able to do is take some of these offshore stuff points that we're looking at here, like that one. And this one is, I did that one by accident a minute ago when I was hitting the button, but this one is out there. And then basically we have one more to show you, and that's gonna be right here where this river channel is. But as you're doing this and you find these waypoints, what you wanna do is you wanna try to pattern it. So say for example on this one, you're like, okay, I found this one close to a roadbed on a point with a creek channel that was swinging by it. So right here could be a really good spot, but they can also be on the inside. But what you do is you find those waypoints wherever you catch that fish at. If you end up catching that fish in this area, you try to match that exact waypoint to all these other ones that you see out here, and then you start to make a pattern and you can become very, very productive. And so that's really the point of all of simplistic fishing. It's not to necessarily give you all the hot spots that are on the lake, but it's allowing you to break the lake down, know exactly what's there, pinpointing out certain key areas that you need to go look at, and then allowing you to pattern it to whatever fits you best. So go out, check it out. It's simplisticfishing.com. We got all those waypoints out there. That's the northwest section. That completes us for that. Now all we have left is the southern section for Eufaula, and we will finally be done. Guys, I appreciate you following along. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.